All right, welcome back to Cannell and Bell. So there's breaking news out of the NFL for the New York Jets. Sam Darnold, it has been announced, is out Monday with mono, a sickness that you're a little bit familiar with. So he's out Monday. Adam Gase said he hopes to have him back by week 4, which would be after a bye week for them because they have the Browns. Really a bummer for NFL fans because we were looking forward to this matchup between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Great billing on Monday night. He's not going to be there. Then they go on the road to the Patriots. Before week 4, October 6th, they go on the road to Philly. But obviously, the big concern is here, let's get Sam Darnold back to healthy. You've had mono. I never have.
That sucks.
Is it just you're lethargic, you're no energy,
you're no energy,
sore,
lethargic, throat hurts like crazy. You can't really eat a lot because your throat will hurt so bad. It was really, I had it in high school. But my body, I lost, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 pounds. And as a high school kid that only weighed like 180, it was a lot of weight for me to lose just because I couldn't eat. And I was so damn tired that most of the time I just slept and tried to do something to make my throat feel better.
The worst part about this for New York Jets.
And it's weeks.
Weeks. Well, that's the concern. Adam Gase, I think, is being very optimistic to say in a few weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to have him back for their matchup against Philly. The thing that really is the hardest pill to swallow if you're a Jets fan, this is such a critical year. Year 2, another new system, but you're supposed to kind of continue the development as a rookie, and every single snap is vital. Every single defense that you've seen where maybe it's only the second or third time you've seen it, but the more times you're on the field, it becomes second nature.
Sure.
You get more comfortable. The only way to get that improvement, to see that improvement, is to actually get the reps on the field, and you take those away, it's a setback that the Jets really don't have the time for. I mean, they've been struggling. They've been trying to get out of this. Adam Gase takes over, brings in this new system. They've spent some money to give him some weapons like Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell. By the way, if you have fantasy, you have Le'Veon Bell. I think Trevor Siemian is the quarterback they're going to go with. They only had 2 quarterbacks on their 53-man. They'll obviously probably have somebody on the practice squad or they'll sign somebody quickly, but I would expect Le'Veon Bell is going to get a healthy workload this weekend.
I need
yes,
all of that.
he's going to get that. That's not
bounce back.
He's not going to have the luxury of a spoon or a fork.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like my fire hose. He's going to have everything coming his way in the game for the Jets this weekend. So a really devastating blow for them in this season. But I think Le'Veon Bell, who was really impressive catching the football out of the backfield for the Jets, is going to have a massive play a massive role in that game plan. But it's just a bummer for NFL fans, for Jets fans, obviously. But Sam Darnold, who was pegged as, hey, this is going to be a breakout year for him after a rookie season where he showed signs, the consistency wasn't there. And the worst part about it, he kind of struggled, had some of those similar hiccups in their week 1 game.
Right.
You're like, as a player, if you struggle, if you lose, which they did, they blew that 16-0 lead, you just want to get back on the field. Like, that's the only thing that can make that loss go away. Now he's got to wait that much longer. And obviously you hope that he gets back healthy. But it is a brutal physical game. We saw Cam Newton, how exhausted he was.
Sure.
You need to be strong. You need to be healthy, because if you're not, you subject yourself to something else possibly. If you lose weight, you can't lift. I mean, I'm assuming – he's not going to be in the weight room like
he's going to be laying up in a bed.
Yeah.
It's taking IVs if he can't eat. This is laid out, very minimal activity or exposure to anyone else type of sickness.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk Browns then. Terrible week 1, Danny. We
must win.
I mean, is this it? Are they winning this game? Does Darnold make the difference? Are they bouncing back?
Yeah, because I think they're Trevor Siemian I like, but there is definitely a significant drop-off. I believe Cleveland was already favored in that game anyway. Mm-hmm. This all of a sudden becomes absolutely imperative must-win games for the Browns, or else it turns into a dumpster fire very quickly. We've already talked a lot about them. They had all the attention, then they lay a dud. Baker does not play well, has the worst fourth quarter quarterback rating that we've seen in like 5 years. Odell, all we're talking about is a stupid watch. If they don't win this game, and I get it's in New York, but you have to win this game. Like, the pressure is now, and I think they will. I do think it's going to be a really bad loss for the Jets, but if they don't, oh my goodness, you're talking about DEFCON 5 like type of panic levels in Cleveland.
Yeah, that would be almost catastrophic. I talked about them seeming like they were a team that wanted to prove their worth to everyone in game 1. and every throw and every play that someone tried to make look like the season was hinging on that throw, you can't do that, right? Like that's not the recipe to get where you want to go. The problem with it is, to your point about them needing this win so bad, your natural instinct is going to be to double down on that. And that could get you in trouble even against the Jets team without their starting quarterback that people are expecting you to beat.
Yep.
You come in there and you're pressing even harder and you're trying to win the game with every play, not just throws, but runs or whatever it is. And you're not executing play by play for the final to be a win. You can get in real quick trouble with the New York Jets team this weekend.
Yeah, you definitely could. So it'll be a very interesting game to keep part of. C.J. Mosley left that game last week for the Jets. So if they've got severe injury issues, again, it becomes that much more important.
Breaking news into CBS Sports HQ. Jets quarterback Sam Darnold will miss week 2 with mono. Coach Adam Gase told the media this morning. He said the second-year passer could miss multiple weeks, in fact. Trevor Siemian will start instead against Cleveland. Another potential blow, Le'Veon Bell missing practice with a shoulder issue. They play the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. As we look here at their 2019 schedule, they lost narrowly in Week 1 at home to the Bills despite forcing 4 turnovers. Could be 0-2. They'll be without Sam Darnold Monday night hosting Cleveland. All right, for reaction, we've got former NFL quarterback Danny Cannell and our fantasy expert Jamie Eisenberg now. Danny, we'll start with you. Your reaction, Sam Darnold out for week 2.
This is a devastating blow for the Jets. I mean, this is such a critical year for Sam Darnold. You know, they hired Adam Gase because they pictured this as the perfect guy to help develop his career. Year 2, you're supposed to make that big jump. They put a lot of weapons around him. They bring in Jamison Crowder. They bring in Le'Veon Bell. You know, he's supposed to take this jump, and then you lose him. And this is, you know, several weeks seems very optimistic to me for mono. I think that's on the very optimistic side. I've never had it, but talking to some people that have, I think that's very optimistic. So you wonder, what does this do? I think it does derail their season, and it puts an incredible emphasis on Le'Veon Bell, who all of a sudden now we're found as banged up too. So good luck to Trevor Siemian and this Jets team to kind of bounce back from this blow. But this is a devastating blow for the Jets.
What does this do to fantasy-relevant Jets, Jamie?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to see that Jamison Crowder coming off a 17-target, 14-catch game, he's still going to be probably the focal point just because short, easy throws. Adam Gase's offense, going back to his days in Miami, you know, he's going to lean on his slot receiver, and I think Crowder is still worth using in this matchup against the Jets. Robbie Anderson, though, is going to take a step back. You know, he's going to probably struggle in a matchup with Denzel Ward, as we saw Ward really take away Corey Davis in the Browns' first game against the Titans, so it was going to be a tough matchup for him anyway. Look, if Bell plays, you're playing him. That goes without saying. The one thing, though, with this whole thing is the Jets have a bye in Week 4. So if you're looking at it from their perspective, they're probably hoping to get Darnold back in Week 5. And then I think, to Danny's point, that's when you start to look at, okay, this is now all in on hopefully Sam Darnold 100%. Because not only do they get him back, hopefully, in the Week 5 game, in Week 6, they get Chris Herndon back. So that's where I think you start to see, okay, can Sam Darnold now just, you know, hopefully get in the classroom, you know, if he's able to, you know, be healthy enough to just sort of, you know, keep learning the offense and seeing the things that they're doing out there on the field. But then he starts to get all of his guys back, you know, because Herndon was going to be a big part of this offense before the 4-game suspension.
But for his development, every rep matters. He's still so young, still inexperienced, and he's in another system where you can study all the film, you can have your playbook, you can even do it at home if he's laid up in bed. But it's just the mental reps that take place aren't the same as actually being in there and making the mistakes on the field. The other thing, too, is because he's going to be laid up, he can't stay in shape. Like, there's a process in what it takes to come back, so you wonder where he is physically. I just think this is a real setback for the Jets and for Sam Darnold specifically, where there was such this expectation of, man, he showed some promise, let's see where he can go. I think it's a really rough loss.
Let's talk about these next few weeks. Maybe back after that bye week, we of course don't know. It looks like 0-3. It's got Cleveland, then at the Patriots, then the bye week. Of course, they lost the Bills. Is that what you see, 0-3 or something better than that?
Well, there's an interesting little side note. Yeah, I do see 0-3, by the way. But the interesting side note is kind of, what does this mean for Cleveland? Like, Cleveland, all of a sudden, absolutely has to win this game. Because if they don't, could you imagine the dumpster fire that Cleveland would become if they don't win a depleted New York Jets team? So I think that's kind of an interesting side note. But yeah, I mean, 0-3, you are staring that right in the face.
At best.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I mean,
just
you
to
look
that
at the
point.
schedule coming.
He only asked me the 3.
Right.
You could keep going, I think.
Yeah. How concerning is the Le'Veon Bell news today? So he's going to have an MRI on this shoulder, not practicing. They do have until Monday night, but it's funny, we're talking all about Sam Darnold, but what about Le'Veon Bell here?
Well, obviously, again, he's the most fantasy relevant player, Darnold or not, when you talk about this Jets offense. And he was fantastic in that Week 1 game against Buffalo, 100% usage, scored the touchdown, looked like the Le'Veon Bell of old, not to the same level because it's a different offense, but he's going to handle all the work he can get, and you need him to be at 100% with that shoulder problem. So if you're looking at it right now, you want to go make a run to the waiver wire, Ty Montgomery will be the next guy up, and he had a great preseason while they were resting Le'Veon Bell. So he's someone you can target. But, if you're Le'Veon, you're looking at, my shoulder's a little tough. I got my money. Do I want to take handoffs from Trevor Siemian against Myles Garrett? Probably not.
Well, what also I thought was very interesting is that Le'Veon Bell wanted to be one of the highest paid running backs. He wanted to be paid like a receiver, right? When he was leaving Pittsburgh, that was one of his biggest points of contention. Adam Gase is like, yeah, we're going to pay you, but we're going to use you the same way Pittsburgh did. So there he's caught a reception, 2-point conversion. He was such a focal point of this offense because he is such a unique weapon. If he's completely out or if he's banged up and it takes him away from that identity of what they really want to do, just another cause for concern for the Jets.
And we love to hear from Adam Gase. So here he is actually giving the update about his players.
26 will be out for practice today. He's got a sore shoulder. We'll be evaluating. I'll know more later today. I know that doesn't help you guys now. And then 14 has mono and will be out for this game. So Trevor will be starting. And Luke Falk will get elevated at some point and be the backup. So that would be that.
Is this going to be more than just a 1 week thing then?
It looks like it. Good thing we got the early bye week.
I love it. 14 has mono. And immediately everyone in that room is like, oh my gosh, tweet.
They're looking at their roster and be like, did he just say that? Are you sure? It's unbelievable.
He said Trevor will be starting.
That will be that.
Yeah. We know Trevor Siemian once upon a time beat out Paxton Lynch, but he's not a starter. What do they have here in Siemian?
I mean, I describe this as a devastating loss. Is there more of a devastated look than what you saw there in Adam Gase? Defeated. He's trying to get this team turned around after they blew a 16-0 lead. Trevor Siemian is adequate. He's shown some signs. I think he's an adequate backup, but that's besides the point. There's a bigger storyline here. It's going to be a significant drop-off. It just sets back the organization. Yeah. It's not a knock on Trevor Siemian. I just think the expectation is you'll get adequate quarterback play. You're not going to get a difference maker. You're not going to get a third overall type performance that you would have gotten out of Sam Darnold. But the bigger picture here, I don't think anybody thought the Jets were going to be a playoff team this year. But, for the future, what it means is what is probably the hardest blow.
You wanted to see them make the strides to go into 2020 as a potential playoff. And they still could. We're still very early in the season. They can make a run at the end of the year and start to show some signs of Darnold making the development that you were talking about. The couple things if you want to be positive about the Jets. Once upon a time, Adam Gase got stuck with a backup situation on a playoff team. His first year as the head coach for the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill had the knee injury, and he got Matt Moore dropped in his lap. They went to the playoffs. They got destroyed by Pittsburgh in the first round, but he was able to sort of make things happen on the fly here. Siemian, a previous starter, like you said, beat out Paxton Lynch, so he does have experience. And the Browns looked awful, obviously, last week against the Titans. So they could still escape with a win here if Le'Veon's healthy. But you also have to look the other side of the ball. We didn't hear the updates on C.J. Mosley, who had the groin injury.
What number is he, though? He's not going to tell you the name.
Quinnen Williams, who had the foot injury. Those guys got to be healthy, too, to slow down the Browns. Because, look, the Browns are going to play better. Even if they have the full complement of guys for the Jets, the Browns are going to look a little bit better in week 2, even though they're going on the road facing their former defensive coordinator, former interim head coach in Greg Williams. So it's going to still be a tough game, I think, on both sides of the ball, but this is such a tough loss for the Jets if it is multiple weeks of Sam Darnold.
Right, and 1-2 here by the time Darnold gets back. Probably optimistic there for the Jets. You keep talking development here of Sam Darnold under Adam Gase. I know it was only 1 week. What did you see there from Darnold there in week 1?
Similar to what I saw from his rookie season. You saw some flashes. There was a couple plays. One of them got called back from a penalty where he's scrambling around, makes a great circus throw down the field. But just the consistency there with the accuracy, the decision-making, it's just not there where you would want it to be, and it has to get to. But it's still just his second year. So that's why I need to see more, because he's got the physical skills. He's got the ability to improvise. He can make throws that other guys simply can't make when he's not balanced, when he doesn't have his feet set. He's got the mobility that you would want. It's just he's got to consistently make better decisions, but those come with time and experience and making those mistakes and eradicating them.
And finally, Jamie, I know there's not a lot of people out there with this situation, but if you're in a 2 QB league and you have Sam Darnold, what should you do right now?
I mean, I'm in that situation myself. So, you know, the obvious thing is to go get either Gardner Minshew or Trevor Siemian. The reason I say those two names is because most of the other quarterbacks in those type of formats are completely gone. So you're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
The absolute desperate situation is you hope Taysom Hill catches a touchdown as the third quarterback in New Orleans, but we know he's going to touch the ball some. So you got to make some trades. You know, so I'm making some very terrible trade offers on my end just to try and salvage the situation, trying to get a guy like Marcus Mariota, Matthew Stafford in a positive situation, Derek Carr. You know, you're getting those backup quarterbacks, fantasy backup quarterbacks that can hopefully help you.
Okay, let's get a pick from both of you for this here Week 2 Monday Night Football. They say that the line is at 3. I'm sure this will move,
or
right?
it's off the board, I would think right now is my guess.
So what
if
number
it was
then
3,
would you
I would
feel,
jump all over the Browns.
Right,
on
but
this
what
one,
number do you think this would have to get to for you to feel uncomfortable?
They're still on the road, so it's probably not going to jump that much.
I would say it moves probably 5, though, don't you? 5 or 6?
I still under a touchdown.
Yeah, and I would probably still take the Browns there.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you as confident?
Well, I mean, look, if Le'Veon's out too, it's a no-brainer. And if you have Mosley and Williams, I mean, you
That's
got
why I think it's off the board.
so many things, factor into play with the Jets here. But yeah, I still think you got to look at the Browns and say that they're the favorite to win.
All right. The news today: Sam Darnold going to miss multiple weeks for the New York Jets, out with mono.